Hello everyone, this is Pierre from Pierre Speaks back again. This video will be regarding NBA, we'll call it, I guess, NBA free agency. Now, I used to be one of those people who totally get that professional entertainers, sports figures, make a lot of money. But I was a person that was always on the end of arguing for them, because I understand that the people that they work for and the entities that they work for make tons more off of them than the salaries that they take in. And I always argued this with people. People would always say to me, they get paid too much playing a kids game and blah, da, da, da. And I said, I hear that. But, you know, if you're Shaquille O'Neal and you're doing what you're doing, I mean, you become an international superstar. I mean, there are people in China and Russia buying jerseys and tuning into your games. You know, stuff like that isn't always quantified here with, you know, your salary. Your salary doesn't even, a lot of times these salaries don't even include that. And you might get a guy who's, okay, you'll say a guy is getting 8 years, $100 million. And then he's like, oh, wow, that's astronomical. But he's working for a $1 billion entity. That's a drop in that's, you know, drop in a bucket, really. So, and that was my stance on it. And now, free agency just went in full bloom, and a lot of movement, a lot of names, a lot of money being thrown around. And that's my reason for making this video. Now, what I'm noticing here, and I could be completely naive. Maybe it's always been like this, because I've never been that fan of sports who's been interested in the money of sports in any kind of way. Never really gave a damn. I was more interested in the product that was happening on the court, on the field. That was where my interest lied. But along the years, sports has become very, I think, I take that back. I should say rather that along the years, sports has become provocative in what's happening when the guys aren't even playing. And that's the financial side of it. It's just become very provocative for people. Not so much for me, but some of the names. Now, I'm not into basketball so much anymore, but I do know the players. I still know the players, and I know who's decent, who's serviceable, who's good, and who's great. And some of these names I've heard thrown around, guys who getting, 5 years for 80 million and stuff like that. And I'm saying to myself, this guy's like a second tier, third tier player. And it just kind of blowing my mind. And don't get me wrong, my stance is still the same. I feel like this is a drop in a bucket to whatever the organization is making. But should everybody who plays in the NBA be like almost $100 million, making $100 million? I mean, wow, that's just crazy. And I mean, these names, Greg Monroe, Reggie Jackson. I mean, these are not household names. These aren't guys that are filling seats in America or overseas. I mean, these are good players. I mean, based on their statistics, they're good players. But these aren't guys who are getting interviews after games night in and night out. They may get one here and there, but maybe every fourth game. But they're not the guys that are getting mics stuffed in their face after every single thing they do. And it's made me really rethink this. It's like, nah, I just don't see. It's hard for me to find justifiable that guys like that are making that much money. And it's like, wow, I really should have played basketball. Jesus, that's just crazy. And I know basketball is the sport where I guess it's, well, no, I don't want to say it. I think baseball is even worse. Again, I don't know exactly how the caps and all that stuff works, but I know baseball. I mean, let's talk about baseball for a second. Most people, I don't know a lot of these guys, and they're making more than any of the people I just mentioned. I mean, you got guys who are just decent players making Shaq money in baseball. So I do know that, they might have had one good year. I mean, you can get just paid off one good year, and then it's just like, boom, you're making over $100 million for one good year. So it's just wow. Just some of these numbers that I've seen thrown around, it's just been really astronomical to me. And maybe, again, the NBA has always been like that, but I just don't remember. I remember Jordan finally, after maybe 4 championships or 3 championships, finally becoming the highest paid player in the league, I believe. And this wasn't like, I don't know if it was even based on multi-year, but I know for a year he was like the first person, I believe, to start making like 20 million a year. And who could argue with that? This dude was in an international. Michael Jordan, I mean, you can almost say this guy was a universal. And when I say universal or galaxy, I'm talking Milky Way type of fame here. But I mean, that's how big he was. And who could really argue with that? Because he's Michael Jordan. So, but a lot of these guys getting the money they're getting, they're not freaking Muggsy Bogues. And they're just getting ridiculous money thrown at them. So I don't know. My stance is changing on that. I don't see everybody making that much money. I mean, a guy like, I don't know, who's the Cavs? Iman Shumpert. I want to say he's got a deal overall for like maybe $40 million is what he signed. And it's just like, wow, just for an inconsistent scorer who plays defense. Damn. It's a lot of money. But again, the organizations that they hoop for make a ton of money off of them. A lot more. They're able to pay it. I mean, it's not like these people are hurting. So, but it just does seem like a lot of money for being kind of a specialist. Everybody's not LeBron James. So that's my take. Let me know yours. Like, subscribe. I love you. Goodbye. Pierre Speaks. Be well.